So I think there's a lot of things we can talk about. But first off, maybe share a little bit about the background context on how SEI came together, what demand you saw in the market. You said, hey, this is something we got to build, and maybe just share like on a very high level what SEI also is in that context.
Absolutely. Yeah, so great to meet you, everyone. My name is Jay. I'm one of the co-founders of SEI Lab, and I lead engineering. I personally got into crypto back in 2017. So at that time, my roommate was going through Binance Launchpad. So we worked on a few different projects together. And afterwards, I ended up joining Robinhood. Right. So I spent 4 years over there, saw the company 10x. And I was an engineering lead when the GameStop crisis happened last year. I'm sure you were following along with it. It was not handled very well. And the biggest reason for that is because there was just a complete lack of communication from leadership around what was actually happening internally. And after going through that experience, it really highlighted to me how whenever you have these kind of opaque systems, when things start to go wrong, they become messy really quickly. And we've seen this play out time and time again, most recently with 3AC and FTX. And one thing that people don't realize is just how powerless you feel when you're an insider working at one of these places, because you put your reputation, you put your career on the line when you decide to join one of these companies. And it's extremely frustrating when management is just completely keeping you in the dark, right? And it's even worse when you are leading a team and people are coming to you with questions and you don't really have any answers to be giving to them. So after going through that experience myself, I became much more of an on-chain maxi. Things that happen on-chain are inherently trustless, generally also transparent. So because of that, last year, my co-founder and I, we started building a decentralized Robinhood. Specifically, we're going to be building an exchange. And this took us down the path of looking into every layer 1, every layer 2, and all the other infrastructure that we could use to build an exchange. And that's when we started observing in what we called internally is the exchange trilemma. Between decentralization, scalability, and capital efficiency, every exchange out there right now is only able to get 2 out of the 3, right? So if you look at Uniswap V2, it gets decentralization and scalability, but not capital efficiency. If you look at Binance, it gets capital efficiency and scalability, but not decentralization. And we don't think that the solution over here is to keep iterating on exchange mechanisms. That's what people have been doing for the past few years, and it hasn't really solved the trilemma. Instead, we think that a complete rewrite of the underlying infrastructure is going to be the solution. And I mean, if you look at how innovation generally happens, it follows these app infra cycles. Essentially, new infrastructure gets created. This leads to new types of applications that are enabled, and then that leads to more specialized infrastructure getting created for these applications. One example of this would be with the database industry. You had initially infrastructure like Oracle getting created. This led to an explosion of different applications that were supported. And now you're starting to see things like Databricks Warehouse, which are very specialized infrastructure that is tailor-made for AI and ML. We think the same things can be happening in the blockchain industry. We started off with very general purpose new infrastructure like Ethereum that led to decentralized exchanges getting created. And now there's a much greater need for having specialized infrastructure to support these exchanges. So the mission per se is very simple. We want to build the best infrastructure for exchanges. And if we're successful, then the decentralized exchange experience will be as close to that or identical to that of the centralized exchange experience. So that's a high-level overview of SEI and our mission. In terms of what we're actually building, we're building a layer 1 blockchain that is completely sovereign. So we're not making use of any kind of shared security. We started building with the Cosmos SDK and Tendermint core. At this point, we have forked both of them. And there's 3 major things that we have added in. The first is twin turbo consensus. So we essentially took the parts of Tendermint and Cosmos that were inefficient, and we optimized those to bring down our time to finality. So we changed the way that block propagation works. We changed the way that block processing works. And this helped us get down to 300 millisecond time to finality in our internal testnet. And we're seeing around 600 millisecond time to finality in our devnet. So we're just able to become the fastest Cosmos chain out there. And I mean, honestly, we're the fastest blockchain out there point blank right now, if you compare against any of the major chains and compare to their time to finality. So that's the first major thing that we've done. The second thing that we've done is parallelization. So we're currently the only Cosmos chain to be using parallelization of any kind. And this helped us greatly improve the amount of throughput that we're able to process. So we're able to get around 22,000 orders per second that we can process right now, which is a magnitude higher than what you would see on most other ecosystems. And the last thing that we've done is we've added in a native order matching engine. So this is a primitive that is built into the chain itself that exchanges can use to help create new markets. And the main benefits from this is that, first of all, it helps exchanges scale. Secondly, it helps prevent front running because we make use of frequent batch auctions. And it also makes for a better market maker experience through order batching. So that's a high level overview of the technology as well.
Yeah.